Okay. You need to also be thinking about, when it comes to profitability, you need to be thinking about your costs. And a lot of us just paddle along going, I actually don't know how much all this is costing me. I don't really know how much I'm spending doing this. One of the things that you will get asked, if you go to sell a business, when it comes down to getting into detail with your numbers, is you're going to be asked something called, what's your CAC? I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this before. I find it such a funny acronym. CAC, what a bunch of CAC. What's your CAC? It means customer acquisition cost. What is your customer acquisition cost? Now, this is a really important number because this basically means, how much does it cost you to acquire a customer? How much does it cost you to get someone to actually buy your thing? Because a lot of people are actually spending 5-10 times more to get a customer that they're then charging. They're spending hours creating marketing material, hours creating videos and editing them. They're spending money on a VA to edit the videos for them. They're spending money on consultants to create workflows for them. They're spending $150, $1,000 a month on ads. And then they get one customer who they charge $60 for a 1-hour call with. But they've just spent about $500 to get someone to book that $60 call. That tells us that we are literally operating at a loss, and we'd be better to do no business at all in that situation than to have had the customer. We need to make sure that we are at least breaking even in our business in order to stay alive. So to do that, we need to know what our customer acquisition cost actually is, so that we know what we need to charge to actually make sure we're breaking even. So to get this number, grab your phone right now and just do a rough calculation. I want you to just get the number in an average month. What do you reckon you spend on marketing? So this is directly marketing related activity that is doing customer generation work. So if you spent any money on ads, if you spent any money on promotions or paid partnerships, I would include about 50% of my content marketing, social media marketing costs. That is your actual marketing, acquiring customers cost. And then you're going to divide it by the number of customers that you got that month. That's your customer acquisition cost. So if you're not making more money from what that customer buys than what it spent you to get that customer, you're operating at a loss, which is why you're not making any profit right now. This is quite confronting to do this number, isn't it? Even if you're just guesstimating right now. This is really important for you to know your CAC, all right? Because otherwise business and things are going to be pretty CAC if you don't know what your profit number is, right? You don't want your bank account to be a load of CAC, so know what your CAC is. Now, you also want to know, all right, cool, so we've got the customer. I probably should have put these the other way around, really, because actually our customer acquisition cost comes first. Once we know what our customer acquisition cost is, so that we know what we need to be charging, we then need to know, how much does it actually cost us to deliver that thing we've sold them, to actually put it into place. If it's just an hour of your time, cool, right? You should be at least, that's a cost of $250 if you're usually charging out at that rate. If you've got staff, how much does it cost to deliver them? Pay them. If you have to use tools or resources, how much does it cost to pay them? Now, a lot of people, for example, will look at Techmatics and go, oh, that must be really profitable, right? It's just this tech thing, people sign up and start paying you. No, there's all the marketing we do. And then we have the free onboarding calls. That's about $500 in staff wages for me, by the way, that I've paid out before you've even paid me a cent. So I actually don't make any money from Techmatics customers until month 3. All right, so how and why is that profitable? Because I'm hoping that in me investing about $500 to $600 worth of staff time and support in your first 2 to 3 months, hopefully you'll stay for at least a year. So I have what's called a delay profit model, but I am very sure from my own statistics and numbers that if we do that work and we put that money and investment in out of my pocket up front, I will eventually get profit later by you staying. So we can have this method of delayed profit if you have something like a subscription. They don't necessarily have to cover your costs in the first payment, because if it's a subscription and they're staying from your data, then you are safe because the profit comes short term afterwards. If, however, you can find a way to recover cost in the first purchase, now you're talking. Now you have super profitability coming along. So be thinking about this all the time in your particular business.